must begin to develop, number one, and this is the most important thing we can do as a people. We must first develop an undying love for our people. Our people. Our people.
I can't be a pessimist because I'm alive. To be a pessimist means that you have agreed that human life is an academic matter. So I'm forced to be...
When a man is being criminally treated, that some criminal has the right to tell that man what tactics to use to get the criminal off his back. When a criminal starts misusing me, I am going to use whatever necessary to get that criminal off my back.
I might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.
Good evening, It's your man, HRap B. Brian HRap B. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend and tap in. This is the End of the Bench Media, and a few minutes with HRap is what we're calling this. Today, I'm going to do a program called Ignorance is No Longer Bliss, and it never has been bliss. Just because you don't know don't mean something won't jump up and kill you. We can no longer live under the premise of, hey man, if I don't know it, it ain't gonna hurt me. Because when you don't know things, it does hurt you. It will destroy you. It will take you right out. And during these times, we understand that we are not living in a safe time to be a working class. See, because a lot of people get caught up in race. Now, even though, as you know, anybody who watches this program, they know I am speaking directly to my community. Today, I'm not going to speak only to my community. I'm speaking to all humanity. Like I say on a regular basis, a rising tide lifts all boats. We know that. This is not something new to us. We understand this concept. But what I want us to understand is this is how we are going to defeat the people who are doing everything they can to destroy working class people, and especially my people. See, we have become lax. We have allowed not knowing to be the way. It is not a way of knowing. We do not want to live in a universe in which us not knowing make us susceptible to the tyranny of the wicked people of the world. And, people want to get it, like I said, we can get into this racial thing. We can get into this nationalist thing. We can get into all those things that really don't mean anything. But what we can actually do is realize we can no longer live in a world in which we don't know things. Not knowing things is not acceptable anymore. Not knowing is what's destroying. Again, ignorance is destroying us because we went through an entire election cycle. And I'm going to talk about this again, maybe tomorrow or Monday, about how we can no longer live in a world in which we don't know. See, at one point in the world, we lived in a world where you could say, you could have a conspiracy theorist or ignorant person come around and rule the day. See, oh man, they are not going to allow you to do this. They are going to stop you. And it was a they at that time. You had a former leader of the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, by the name of J. Edgar Hoover, and he was doing those things. He was putting us in a trick bag. I'm moving too fast. Allow me to apologize and do what I normally do. If you're not watching this live, please go to www.theendofthebench.com. I got excited. Please forgive me. www.theendofthebench.com. You'll be able to watch the Black History video via Country Boy at One Mic History in its entirety. Please go there. A lot of people have been going. Thank you very much. Or if you're watching live, I want to say hello. Thank you. Hello, and thank you to everyone. And I also want you to hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. It is greatly appreciated. And I also want to thank my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there's no me. And that without me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. Thank you. Now, back to the point. We are living in a universe in which we can no longer say, see, I didn't know, and see, they, and things of that nature, because that is what put us in the situation that we're in right now. I'm watching all day on CNN, it's MSNBC, other news outlets, C-SPAN, to be specific, watching people in Congress literally say they signed bills that they didn't read. We can't have civil servants, civil short for civilian servants, doing the will of the civilians, representatives, you are a member of the House of Representatives, you're a member of the Senate, and you're passing bills that you haven't read, and then you sitting there looking stupid, talking to your constituents like the guy in Nebraska. Well, I didn't read that section. He needs to lose his job. He needs to lose his job. It is time for us as the United States of America citizens to invoke our rights and then make sure these people will no longer be elected. Anybody who looks like them or sounds like them or think like them. So you have to do away with your hate, people. You're going to have to do away with the hate that that has been ingrained in you. You may not like me. You may not like Latino people. You may not like women. You may not like people from the LBGTQ, the LB, you know, that group. No disrespect to them. LBGTQIE. Thank you. You may not like people from other religions or whatever, but here's the thing. You like to get up and go to work every day. You like to pay your bills. You like to pay your lights. You like to buy a new vehicle. You like to go on vacation from time to time. You like to do all the things that you like to do. And the way the government is being set up currently, you're not going to be able to do those things. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. You have a United States federal government that are prepared to increase the tax on people who make $15,000 or less. Why in the heck would you do that? You want to increase the tax on people who make $30,000 to $15,000. But you don't want to increase the tax on the billionaires who control and pull the strings of these elected officials. This is why we can no longer be ignorant. Ignorance will get us killed. The Surgeon General, one, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has been caught in several lies. One of them, I never said vaccines don't work. I personally heard him say it. And the lady said, just a second, and played him say it. See, stop buying into your indoctrinated hate. See, here's the thing, man. I'm going to give you a blueprint, hopefully, for your hate to work for you. You don't have to like anybody outside of your culture. But what you do is live inside of what's good for you and your culture. See, that's the problem. When we feel with such hate, I'm going to miss out on an extra order of fries so I'm going to buy 2 orders of fries so you can miss out on your fries. I'm going to buy a double cheeseburger because I know I'm not that hungry. I'm going to buy a double cheeseburger because I don't want you to eat. So now I have less money, I have more cholesterol, more grease in my body, and I die sooner just because I didn't want you to have. We need to get away with this. This is the ignorance that I speak of. We're not aware of how the federal government works. First and foremost, people who listen to this, I'm just going to ask a couple questions. How many years did the people in the House of Representatives be in play? How many years did the people in the Senate be in play? How many years do your governor is your governor in play? How many years is your mayor in play? How long do the people in your city council and school boards, how long are they in their positions? If you don't know these things, this is why the people at the top are beating our brains out. See, because you're focusing on what black people don't have, what white people don't have, what this and what that and what this and what that. And you know what my favorite trope is? Well, it's the black people have had opportunities. Like, for example, the most inflammatory statement in the last 45 years has been used twice by former President Ronald Wilson Reagan and one dude who remixed it, Donald J. Trump. Make America Great Again. See, people don't even realize Make America Great Again is what started the R&B of the 80s, and not rhythm and blues, not Luther Vandross, not Shalimar, not that R&B, Reagan and Bush. 12 years of Reagan and Bush from 1980 to 1992, or 1978 to 1992. R&B. And guess what we got? Reaganomics, the crack epidemic, semi-automatic and military-grade weapons put on our streets, mass incarceration, and a whole myriad of problems that we still dealing with to this day. But guess what? Make America Great Again started then, and we have graduated into now. And we are Make America Great Again. So you know what? For the people who inevitably is going to be people who tap in on Instagram, when I post on Instagram, or when I post on TikTok, when I post on Fanbase, when I post on Spill, when I post on Blue Sky, and when I post on, that's it. They always tap in. white nationalist people, well, the black people had this. I'm going to remove my people for just 1 second. Make America great again. See, we making America great again. Okay, and then people say, well, when was it great for black people? Your immediate response is the people in Chicago, the violence in Chicago, the black people do this. Okay, we're gonna remove my people from this conversation. Great. Make America great again. When in the hell was America great for the people who are identified as or once upon a time were identified as Indians or First Nation people? I'll wait. When was America great for them? See, you can go along with the tropes and look at Chicago and black on black crime and black people are lazy. You got all that. Yep. I'm just gonna ignore those tropes. When was it great for the people who are identified as Indians or natives or indigenous or First Nation? You know, all those tribes that were here before anybody, before Europe understood that this was the place to be. When was it great for them? It's because you can't call them lazy. You can't call them negative. You can't call them, just say black on Indian on Indian crime. You can't say that because they were thriving in this space before you got here. So when was it great for them? Was it great for them in the 1592, 16, 17, 18, 1992, or 2002, or 2022? No, the hell it was not. So when was it great? See, you have these preconceived notions about my community that you can throw in people's face and see this is what their problem is. But what are the problems of the natives? So if you can, that's how you do away with the ignorance, because ignorance, evil, and negativity has a one-track mind. I keep telling y'all. That's why my goal is, as I say this every episode, to make life for my great-grandchildren's grandchildren's and great-grandchildren, again, great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren's grandchildren, to have a better life. And if we continue down the path we're going down, we'll never make that happen, because we've been duped, fooled, and befuddled by nonsense. They are not going to let us do this. The system is set up. The system is set up for ignorance to reign supreme. But anytime you want to do away with academics in a competitive world, you've told me you have no respect for humanity. And I'm telling you this, you cannot have respect for humanity and do away with the ability to enhance someone's mind. Why is it through the roof to educate a child and other people get paid when that child isn't educated and turn to crime? See, this is the ignorance that I spoke about at the top of the show. Do you know how the Constitution works? Did you know that Thomas Jefferson said we should rewrite the Constitution every 20 years because the country is an ever-changing entity? Did you know that? I brought that up to a good friend of mine, and he obfuscated, meaning pivoted and went, well, it's not a good time to do that now. But no. That wasn't the point of the conversation. It's you have the ability to do it. Since everybody wants it to be fair, let's write out something, a new constitution like 1992, the country of Ghana did, and countries all over the world have done, and make it even Steven for everybody. No one gets an advantage. Everybody gets a leg up. Everybody who's impoverished and made bad decisions, maybe we need to rewrite all these things. Maybe you and your state, because you live somewhere, you can rewrite that. You can have them rewrite the county laws. You can have them rewrite the state laws, and then you can have them rewrite the nation's laws. There shouldn't be a person trapped in poverty in these United States of America. It shouldn't be. But guess what? Here's the beautiful thing in this. There's ways in which Dr. King talked about a living wage. Well, you know what? You may see somebody who drives the city bus and say, you know what? I always want to drive that bus. You may drive the Greyhound. I want to drive. I love to drive trucks and tractors throughout the country. Those positions are needed. That's my thing. You may want to drive the train, city train, Amtrak train, or a freight train. Everyone should have the ability and opportunity to do something that they're interested in. And it may bring you utter joy to do that. You may want to sit at the top of that freight train and drive that train down those tracks, and you may be elated with that. We need to start guiding people to that. You may be a handy person because your parents own the house and your father had to fix the sink. He had to change a couple pipes. He had to change fixtures. He had to change the ceiling fan. People don't even realize you can change a light fixture in about 8 minutes. And when you see those things, you may become handy. When you become handy, you may want to become an electrician, a plumber. You may want to become a mechanic. People should have those opportunities. Crime, don't get me wrong. I was about to say something that is wrong. Crime is a choice by a lot of people. But most people who participate in criminality, what they have done is feel that they have been pressed into a situation that they don't have an answer to. And the answer that's available is crime. And you may, well, you don't have to. Yeah, no one has to do anything. No one ever had to be an alcoholic. But you don't look at the alcoholic like you did the criminal. But guess what? You didn't have to take the drink. You didn't look at the drug addict as you do the criminal. But you didn't have to use those drugs. You don't look at a lot of things like you do criminals. But the same ideology, the same mentality that forced that person into, or, hey, I'm going to do this once or twice, and then it's not going to bother me for the rest of my life. Those same mentality, that's the same thing that triggers criminality. Okay, I'm in the jam. Let me do this. I know people. I know some people who are wildly intelligent, far more intelligent than I am. And they have chosen a life of crime because, hey, so many doors were shut in their face, so they start selling keys. And that's a colloquial. That's a metaphor. That is I'm metaphorically speaking, but use that metaphor to think about what I'm saying. People get so many no's, and then they try to create a yes. Some people create it in a positive way. Others create it in a negative way. But you are a sum total of the things that you have been exposed to, whether it's happenstance or via rearing. So stop judging people and start assisting people. The ignorance is it is at an all-time high because it is a poison. It is a poisonous venom that is destroying us at all times. The working class, the super rich, and the people in charge, they killing it. They are killing it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the most ignorant people in government in the history of my life. I've never seen anybody more ignorant than Marjorie Taylor Greene. But you know what? She went into this making thousands of dollars, and she's a millionaire right now. She's a multi-millionaire right now. The same person who rails about people getting relief from student loans and things of that nature. You know what Marjorie Taylor Greene has done? Marjorie Taylor Greene has done this. She got a PPP loan and got it forgiven, but you don't want people to get student loans forgiven. At what point do you start living in accordance to the principles that you swear by? A lot of people who are going to watch this, they are people of faith. I don't care which faith it is. You're a person of faith. And I have yet to come across a faith and that didn't say help people. So why would you make it hard for me? If you walk uphill both ways to school, why not plateau one of those hills and build a school right there? Why not build a school on a level ground? Because you want me to do it? No, it's different ways to educate people on hard work. So why must people struggle because you struggle? No, you teach people how to work hard because you work hard. Struggle is not what makes you a better person. Perseverance makes you a better person. When you teach people how to work hard to get what they need, when you teach for example, when you teach your son, hey, I will give you an allowance if you rake the leaves, if you clean the house, if you do all these ancillary things around the house, I will give you an allowance to do that. But if you don't do those things, if you don't have a specific GPA, if you don't rake the leaves, clean the house, mop the floors, take out the garbage, wash the dishes, do your laundry in a specific, you structure things so the child knows I have to do these things in order to get what I want. That's how you do things. You enroll them in athletics, not as a get-rich-quick scheme, but you enroll it because then it is meritocracy. Your merit will get you to a starting position. Your merit and your hard work will get you to an all-star level or superstar level or all section level or all city level or all state level or ranked in the nation. That's how you That's how you engage with your children. You don't make, since I had to walk in the freezing cold and stand out on the bus stop, you should too. No, that's why you did it. So your great-grandchildren won't have to stand on a bus stop and freeze. There's no badge. I used to stand on the bus stop, and guess what? My kids did. And guess what? My daughter called me today. Purchasing means something. Hey, Dad, I know you smoke cigars. I'm in Miami right now. You bought me something this week. I'm gonna buy you some cigars. She's gonna buy me some cigars. That's how you do it. Because she worked her behind off. She's becoming a better, stronger, and great woman. And guess what? Thank you for helping me. And that's how we need to operate in these United States. Ignorance is not the way. Oh, well, I don't really watch the news. Well, you don't have to watch the news. You need to read the news. You need to read the government. Oh, well, see, I'm busy. No, you're not. Because guess what? Over 350,000 of you tapped in with me last month. Thank you. So that means you're not too busy. We have to work together. Hey, most of us have significant others and all of us have relatives. Maybe you need that. Maybe, hey, I'm watching the news Monday, you watch the news Tuesday, somebody else watch the news Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday, we all get on this group call and talk about what we saw. And now we are enhancing each other. It's too much, it's too stressful. You think the news is stressful? Oppression is stressful. Lack thereof is stressful. You know what's real stressful? Having missed meal cramps. When you so hungry, your stomach is hurting. That's stressful. You know what's stressful? Not being able to help your mother, not being able to help your child, not being able to help your significant other. That's stressful. And that's the road we're walking down right now, because some of us want to participate in discriminatory practices, and we're going to let ignorance of what's going on kill us. I don't want to see any more TikTok. Look, I use TikTok as a source of humor. Some of the TikTok and Instagram, some of the funniest things in the history of the world on there. I don't want to see no more. I'm sorry for voting for Donald Trump, because you're stupid. And I'm not, hey, if I offend you, hey, if you're slaying a dead cat in the room, the person who screams the loudest, the person who got hit by the dead cat, is stupid, because you allow hate and ignorance to be your guide. I hate those people. Even though I don't know them, I hate them. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about just people outside of my community. I'm talking about people in my community where, you know, the people in this country or that continent don't like us. So it's 1 billion people over there, and you had poor interactions with 3 or 4 people, and you're going to speak for all of them. I don't give a damn if you had a poor interaction with 100 of them. It's 1 billion people over there. That's not even 1,000th of 1% of the population. So stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. It is not beneficial. It is not beneficial. Dislike. Right. What is dislike? We should be growing to dislike ignorance, intolerance, inability to accept people for who they are. That's what we need to be tired of. That's ignorance. Because if you don't look, I've never met a person, whether you care what people think about you or not, never met a person who wanted to be mistreated. So if you don't want to be mistreated, if you don't want to be judged, if you don't want to be denigrated, don't denigrate, don't judge, don't mistreat people. You don't have to like anybody. In the history of the earth, there's no rule saying I must like you. But what you have to do is respect people. Respect, because guess what? No matter what religion you are part of, or if you're agnostic, or even if you're atheist, I don't have to deal with that. That's your deal. If you are part of a community that most people aren't accepting, or some people aren't accepting, I don't have to do what you do. That's your business. No matter what you do, as long as you are not bringing harm or danger to others, if this is encompasses you and your life and doesn't spill over like radioactive waste and touch me, I don't care what you do. That's your business. As my man Alice Brandy would say, that's your hard ass luck. I don't have time for that. I'm not dealing with you or that. But that's what we need to get to. We can no longer allow this ignorance to permeate into our communities anymore. Ignorance is not bliss. It is not. Stop it with the madness. Ignorance is not bliss. And with that being said, what we have to do is stop watching the train go by. Working class people, and again, this is when I speak directly to my community, and I'm speaking to all working class people, but I'm speaking to my community specifically. We must stop watching this train go by. At what point in the history of these United States has the United States federal government done anything that will benefit you exclusively? Okay, this is what they need to do, and then it went straight to us, and it benefited us, and didn't help nobody else. Never. Wrong. Nothing. So we keep saying they need to give us reparations. Well, that's a fight. Why are we waiting on reparations? No, they are literally trying to initiate legislation. So if you don't go along to get along, you might be asked to leave and even be paid to leave or incarcerated. So why would you want to live under those circumstances? They don't even want you to be proud to be Black, and then get a bunch of Black people and then shop at Black business. They don't want you to be proud to be Muslim. They don't want you to be proud to be Jewish. They don't want you to be proud to be all sectors of the Latino population. They just want you to be an American, which is kind of stupid because you're not an American. Because if you want me to be an American, you want me to be Canadian because they're Americans too. North America. You want me to be Mexican or Central American, South American? They're Americans. See, this is the ignorance that I speak of. You can no longer allow the people in this propagandized machine to tell you who you need to be. You need to embrace your culture, embrace your history, and embrace yourself. Love that person in the mirror. And then guess what? You'll love everybody else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody. If you don't know yourself, then you are nobody. And knowing yourself is to know your history, is to know what's going on. If you can't celebrate who you are in these United States, to actually draw up that law is a violation of the United States Constitution as it presently stands. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and freedom to do what you want to do as long as it's within the means of the law, with the constraints of the law. That's what. But now you want me to, hey, well, if you're not going along with, if you're not status quo, then we're gonna have a problem with you. That sounds like what we used to call communism in the 80s. They used to call it communism. That sounds like some BS. Yeah, it is some BS. But y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all don't want to participate it. Y'all don't want to live it. Y'all don't want to dream it. So they're going to impose your dreams. They're going to impose your life. They're going to do everything they can to you so you can suffer the consequences. And so far, so good. That's why you got a game show host. We got Richard Dawson and Bob Barker running the damn country. Anytime you vote for two men who have been, one of the men who has been caught in a gazillion lies, and then you vote, and then you allow him to pick a person who said he was no good. He is the worst person in the history of the world because they thought he was gone and never be seen again. He's the worst person in the history of the world. Look at this guy. He's this, and now you're his vice president, and you carrying this flag, and you carrying this water, you toting this flag. And we voted for that. The United States population voted for that, whether they cheated or not. Guess what? You got, and I'm gonna talk about that definitely Monday, about the people who told us not to vote. I'm gonna kick those people in their hindsides. Unless something big happens over the weekend, we own it. I'm on those people. And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand, man. We are literally watching a train go by. We could, we're going to do away with HBCUs. Do you know, again, I say this every day, just about. Do you know it's enough people that look like me in this community who are great thinking people in this community that we can go to a independently owned HBCU? And, just like we used to do, how the late great Lou Rawls used to do the United Negro College Fund telethon every year, we could fund HBCUs just in our community. We just, look, if ESPN can have the Jimmy V Foundation and make the Jimmy V Foundation telethon to the point where they have perpetual cancer research and people have donated so much money that they don't even need the telethon anymore. Why we can't do that for HBCUs? Pick about 8 to 10 HBCUs, make some of them technical, make some of them technology, technical meaning vocation, plumbing, auto mechanics, so forth and so on. Technology, and then traditional academics with literary genius, with mathematic genius, with being physicians, being attorneys and other entities that we need throughout the world. And we could fund those things and put our children in them and send our children there, much like, much like what used to be Job Corps. We could do that amongst ourselves. And just because it could be a HBCU does not mean anybody else can't come. But we can do that for us. We can do that for us. And guess what? It'll be some dumb people in this world who buying into racial hierarchy and discriminatory practice and disregarding others. I ain't sending my kids to no black school. Good. And then we'll just keep rising to the top. But here's the beauty in being in my community. At no point in the history of this universe has black people rose to the top and said, we're going to kill everybody. Not the Moors from the 700 AD on back. I mean, 1500 AD on back for 700 years that ruled in Europe. Not anybody in Egypt. Not anybody what y'all call the Middle East. Not anybody in the Sudan. Nobody from that continent. We have been all over this world. We have a footprint in this on every land in this world, and we never said, hey, we're going to kill anybody. So I'm not rooting for you to say, hey, pump up the black people. But again, point number one, ignorance. Point number two, don't let the train continue to pass you by. I'm going to show you, it's Black History Time. Here's the video that's going to pop up on the screen shortly. This is something that we need to start paying attention to, because people will tell you anything about who you are. How can you allow people to tell you who you are and what your history is, and you sound foolish? So, oh, my bad. This is the reason I show Black history is because it's going to help you know who you are and what you do, and you sound foolish listening to somebody tell you what you are and what you're about. I'm gonna play this video. I'll be back shortly. And I'll close out the show.
In the humid Mississippi twilight, it's around 1915 outside of Clarksville, Mississippi. Along sun-drenched dirt roads, a ragged wooden shack pulses with music. Inside, lanterns swing, casting dizzying shadows over bodies sweating and swaying. Guitars growl, feet stomp, dancers shout, and the moonshine flows freely. Rules seem to be forgotten. These are unabashed temples of the blues, where cowboys and cotton pickers gather every Saturday night just to feel alive after a week of back-breaking toil. This music was their freedom. It was honest and daring, yet filled with sorrow. But as these same notes trail off into the air, floating across fields and dark woods till they reach another small shack. There, a mother kneels over her children, clutching a Bible. She whispers a Bible verse, dreading the sinful sound drifting from those cursed clubs. After all, it's Saturday night, and tomorrow is the day of salvation. Church bells ring in judgment, warning that no good ever came from the devil's music. Blues and religion are neighbors trapped in conflict, waging a cultural war that defined a generation of music. So join us today while we tell the tale of the devil's music. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. If you like audio-only episodes, you can find my podcast wherever you find your podcast. But without further ado, how did blues gain the reputation of the devil's music? Let's take a step back to the beginning. At the tangled crossroads between freedom and the lingering shadows of enslavement. Despite popular belief, the blues didn't emerge from enslavement, but rather rose dramatically from its complicated aftermath, the heavy contradictions of emancipation. When the chains fell, liberation arrived weighted down by poverty, exclusion, and relentless hardship. And out of this paradoxical freedom, authentic and powerful music emerged.
Now,
in those delta fields along southern plantations.
With that being said, you see how you are going to put me in a horrible situation. And thank you for everybody tapping in. Welcome to the program. If you're just tapping in, and you know, as I say every day, if you want to see that video in its entirety, you can always go to www.theendofthebench.com. On the left is this episode, and on the right is that video. The reason I do it that way is because it is to, I'm going to be honest with you, to promote my website so you can go and visit. And then you can also get the information that you need via this program. And you can also get the information that is available to you via One Mic History. He'll get the credit for the view. I get the credit for the visit. We both, one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. And I want you to subscribe to Country Boys One Mic History. It is rich in culture. It is rich in information. And he is a knowledgeable man who's trying to uplift his people. Back to the blues. Did you see how you were always taught that the blues at one point was identified as the devil's music? The blues was at one point identified as the devil's music. Why was it identified as the devil's music? It was identified as the devil's music because anytime you don't understand something, people who know don't talk, and people who talk really don't know. And what I mean by that is this. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, the easiest way to get me to conform is to put God into something. Hey, well, you know, I am a part of something currently in real life, in real time, that people consistently say, well, you know, that's the devil's. And then I say, oh, you know what? Don't participate. Don't pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to me. Because one thing about life, this is one thing about life. You don't have to participate in anything in the history of the world. You can easily just go away. You can easily go away. But instead of going away, people create colloquialisms. People disregard people, and people put bad, what we call juju in my culture, put bad juju on things so you won't be able to embrace what you're doing. Just like rap music, just like jazz, just like R&B, just like soul music of the 70s, just like hip hop. Blues music is a storytelling culture that speaks about what's going on in the community, whether it be love, whether it be dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction with your place of employment, dissatisfaction with your social issues. It is the conversation of the struggle. But because you don't understand the slang that comes out, if you don't understand the verbiage, you will make it a bad thing. I'll give you a perfect example in regards to a dietary issue. Watermelon is used as a negative connotation. He eating chicken and watermelon. Well, watermelon is one of the most vitamin and mineral dense fruit in the history of the world. It will hydrate you with H3O, which is easily absorbed by your body. And it, H2O, H3O, all kinds of vitamins and niacin. Hey, brothers. For you brothers going to get them honey packs, and you brothers going to get them blue and red pills they're promoting all over the world. Guess what is a natural Viagra? Watermelon. You don't have to believe me. Look it up. Look it up. Don't believe any. Like I say every day, don't believe anything I say. Look into it, and you'll be like, that's why over 350,000 people tapped in last month. That's why. That's why over 1,000 people have subscribed. That's why, because people are looking into these things and they're saying, hey, man, this dummy might know what he's talking about. But it's not about me knowing what I'm talking about. It's about how they take things like watermelon. When our ancestors said, we're not eating no more pig, we're not eating no more slop that you gave us. We're going to eat things that we grew and that are nourishable, that are nutritious to us, and move forward. And then they turn it into a negative thing, and they got you back on the pork. They got you back on the chicken. They got you back on the beef, and then they putting poison into the beef, and then you wonder why you have cancer. See, again, this is when ignorance meets opportunity, and then you are taken advantage of. Then you are taken advantage of. And this is not what we're here for at the End of the Bench Media. We are here to start reblazing the trail. We must become a more communal situation. We must return to our more communal roots, which means you don't have to. I'm not going to help you because I'm going to get something. I'm going to help you because you are going to help my grandson. You're going to open up a dry cleaners, and you're going to hire my nephew, hopefully. Don't hire him if he's not qualified. Don't hire him if he don't want, fire him if he don't want to work. And you're going to hire my niece at your grocery store, and we're going to continue to shop. And then we're not going to need background checks, because we're going to understand HRap niece, HRap nephew, HRap son has gone to the penitentiary, and he's trying to turn his life around. I'm going to give him this stock position, and he's going to work up to bagger. Then he's going to work up to cashier. Then he's going to work to shift supervisor. And then he's going to be store supervisor, because it's going to allow me to open multiple stores. This is what we must return to. We also need to return to that invocation, whether HRap's son wants to be a plumber. He made poor decisions. Now I'm gonna make him an apprentice, and then I'm gonna get him some certification, and then I'm gonna make him a plumber, and then I'm gonna put him in a union, and then he's gonna be able to work at scale and not to deal with the racist nonsense and discriminatory practices of anyone in the world. Because guess what? We all have some place to stay, so we're going to need plumbers. We all have some place to stay, so we're going to need electricians. We're going to need carpenters. We're going to need roofers until the earth stops spinning. Guess what else we're going to need? We're going to need accountants. We're going to need nurses. We're going to need CNAs. We're going to need doctors. We're going to need everything. And those things are right at our fingertips, but we need to reblaze that trail. Right here in Chicago, there was it was on the tip of my tongue, and I'll think of it in a second. There's a hospital that was created by a Black man. He also trained doctors and nurses at this hospital. You have people who created opportunities for us 100 years ago. So with more resources, more power, more knowledge, and more reach, whether it be across the pond or in the Gulf of America. I mean, jeez, I should be slapping. The Gulf of Mexico, I said Gulf of America. I have lost my entire mind. Everybody in the world need to be sending slaps at me right now. But back to the point I was making, in the Gulf, we need to be dealing with the woman who's running Barbados and smashed Barbados from the teeth of Britain about 4 years ago, Marion Motley, the prime minister. She said she's trying to create the United Nations, the United Countries of the Caribbean. She's trying to galvanize those people. Those are the things we need to be working towards. Because, see, thank God for the internet, and the people who watching all over the world. Literally, I have talked to people from Africa. I've talked to people from Europe. Shout out to the brothers in Manchester. Shout out to my man Najim. He's in Africa. He watches all the time. He reaches out to me on social media all the time. We have inbox conversation. I need you to understand the United States is not the end all be all. The world does not end with the 48, Alaska, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. It does not end there. You can go to another country. You can live in South America. I got a cousin named Scott. He lives in South America currently. He posts on TikTok from South America regularly. I got another cousin who just moved to Ghana. I got another cousin. She's an author. She just purchased property in Ghana. My cousin Carlos is moving to Ghana. The world is smaller than you think. And because of these things, we have the ability to blaze trails that we would never thought were available. If you know of a need, you provide that need, and you'll be richer than you ever thought you could be. So, with that being said, stop waiting. That's the key. Stop waiting on people or the government to do things for you, and you and 5 friends can get together and buy one property and live there. Or you and 3 friends get together, like you paying $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $1,800 a month. Y'all come together and buy a property, rehab it, and just live there. Guess what? Your sons and daughters, and your sons and daughters will have some place to stay into perpetuity. You'll probably be paying $2,500 or $3,000 collectively to live there. Now you can put a new roof on every 5 years. You can do the windows every 10 years. You can make sure the heat and air conditioning is serviced on a regular basis. Now, nobody in your family will ever be homeless. Hey, how about this? It's 3 of y'all. Y'all can get another building, and then rent that out to other family members, and then go get another one, and then just separate the 3 or conglomerate, make it a conglomerate, and then you continue to expand. Again, that's how Dr. Jerry Buss, his family owns the majority portion of the Lakers. That's how he became a billionaire, because him and his friends, they did that in the portion of a town called Hollywood in California. And guess what? They call it the Sunset Strip now. People, there's knowledge out there for you to blaze a trail. You get up and work every day so you can blaze a trail. Stop working for 401k and stop working for your grandchildren's great-grandchildren's future. I just met a guy who's 38 years old. He's on the precipice of being a millionaire. I know other people who own several properties. You don't have to get a degree. I have a degree. You don't have to get a degree. You don't have to get a degree to be successful. All you have to have is determination, drive, and love for yourself. With that being said, I want you to understand, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do in this life. You have to do what you have to do to survive, and then you build towards success. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have people who hate hate you because they're not you. You're going to have people who badmouth you. You're going to have people who use you. Don't let it change who you are. What you do is take that hate and build upon it. Make sure you give people something to hate about you every day, and that is success. Because the more you love yourself, the more people will hate you. With that being said, thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. The NBA Finals is coming on. Un momento. Oh, and it might be actually on already. But enjoy that. Me and my man will be on tomorrow. We're doing the Chiefs Seats. We're going to talk about game 1 of the NBA Finals. We're going to talk about a few other things. With that being said, y'all already know. I'm going to end it with a salute to my man, Combat Jack, a.k.a. Reggie O'Shea. We call him the Pod Father. And he used to end his shows, and I'm going to end mine like that too. Dream your dreams and man up and woman up and live your dreams. Excuse me. Dream your dreams and man up and woman up and live your dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows with Technicolor surround sound. Rest in peace, Reggie O'Shea, a.k.a. Combat Jack. And y'all already know. Watch to the end. Dr. Amos Wilson has... it's a gem every day. I drop that gem off to you every day. I will see you in less than 24 hours. 2 fingers, 1 word. I am.
More life and more blessings. Rise up and give thanks and stop stressing. More life and more blessings. Rise up and give thanks and stop stressing. We don't take no L's, we take lessons. They can't stop our vibe, we keep them guessing.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why